So, you're telling me, Alara said, her voice dripping with skepticism, that we're spending our Saturday digging up some random backyard because of a YouTube conspiracy theory? Kaylin, her boyfriend, beamed. Not just some theory, babe. The Hexham heads. They supposedly brought a curse, a real-life curse, and this house right here is where they were originally found. They were in the backyard of a small, nondescript house in North London. Kaylin, a budding paranormal investigator, was convinced this was his big break. Their friends, Lyra and Jax, were reluctantly holding shovels. "This is ridiculous," Jax grumbled. "We should be at the pub." "Just think of the content," Kaylin insisted, pointing his phone's camera at them. "We're unearthing a piece of paranormal history. This is going to be epic." They started digging in the exact spot Kaylin's grandfather had mentioned. After about 10 minutes, Jax's shovel hit something hard. Jax pulled a small, moss-covered stone from the dirt. It was crude, with a strange, stylized face carved into it. A second one, even more grotesque with its gaping mouth and hollow eyes, was just beneath it. "Oh my God," Kaylin whispered, his eyes wide. The air around them felt suddenly heavy, and a profound, bone-deep cold settled in. The playful banter died in an instant. "Okay, this is where we wrap it up," Alara said, her voice firm. "We put them back. We walk away. We never talk about this again." But Kaylin, caught up in the thrill, ignored her. He held up the two heads for his phone's camera. The Hexham heads. Found them. Just like in the stories. That night, the playful, spooky vibes were replaced with something far more sinister. The first sign was a scuttling, scratching sound from inside the walls. The real horror began when Jack saw a fleeting shadow in the corner of his eye, a figure with the gangly limbs of a man but the hairy, stooped posture of a goat. It stood in the hallway for a split second, its yellow eyes fixed on him, before vanishing. He didn't mention it, afraid of sounding insane. But an hour later, Lyra screamed. "A wolf!" she shrieked, pointing at the window. "There's a wolf outside! It's staring at me." No one else could see it. But Lyra's terror was real. She was trembling, hyperventilating. Ilara, ever the pragmatist, grabbed the two stone heads and stormed toward the front door. "We're getting rid of these things," she declared. "Now!" But the front door was locked. The key was gone. The back door, too. All the windows were sealed shut. The house had become a cage. The terrifying visions continued. Jax saw the man-goat figure standing in the doorway. It wasn't a hallucination this time. It was solid, grotesque. Kaylin saw a figure with a wolf's head and a man's body stalking him from the top of the stairs. The group was no longer communicating. Each person was trapped in their own personal hell, tormented by a curse that was now targeting them specifically. They were not friends anymore, but four isolated individuals in a house that was a nexus of pure evil. The last thing Alara saw was her own reflection in the hallway mirror. Her face was distorted, her features melting into something monstrous. A cold, heavy hand clasped her shoulder, and she finally knew that the curse was about possession. The police arrived the next morning. They found the house completely empty. No one was inside. The only things left behind were two small, grotesque stone heads sitting on the kitchen table. But in the quiet corners of the house, a different story was playing out. The half-man, half-goat figure was still there, and so was the man-wolf. They were playing with their new toys, the four young adults who had so foolishly unearthed them. They were no longer screaming. They were laughing. A quiet, horrifying, endless laughter that echoed in the empty halls. A group of 5 teenagers huddled in a booth at a greasy spoon cafe, their phones alight with the latest viral trend, videos of the tickler. The serial killer's MO was bizarre. He'd corner his victims, tell them a joke, and they'd laugh themselves to death. "Mate, "It's gotta be a hoax," said Alex, a lanky kid with a laugh that sounded like a seagull being strangled. "I mean, how do you even pull that off?" Zoe, the cynical goth of the group, rolled her eyes. "He's clearly using some kind of gas or something." "Yeah, but the videos," chirped Jack, his face glued to his phone screen. "He's full-on tears streaming, hyperventilating laughter. Then bam, lights out." Their friend Mia, a perpetually giggly girl, shivered. "Imagine laughing so hard you just stop." "I reckon it's a prank," Sam, the quietest of the group, mumbled. "Probably just actors making some weird art project." The debate raged on. As they spilled out of the cafe, the streets felt a little emptier. Alex's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. He opened it, a smirk on his face. "All right, looks like we have a new challenge." He held up his phone, showing a grainy photo of a man in a trench coat and fedora. The message read, "What do you call a sad strawberry?" "Oh, come on," Zoe groaned. "We're not doing this." "A blueberry," Mia offered, giggling nervously. "No, that's not it," Jack said. "The joke always comes from him." A disembodied voice, clear and jovial, suddenly spoke from a nearby alleyway. "A sad strawberry is a strawberry with a sour face." The group froze. A figure stepped out. He was a small man, impeccably dressed with a wide, toothy grin. In his hand, he held a single ripe strawberry. "See?" he said. "He's just sad. He's trying his best, but he's just so sour." A choked, helpless giggle escaped Mia's lips. The man's grin widened. "And how do you make a tissue dance?" he continued. "You put a little boogie in it." Mia's giggle turned into a full-blown cackle. She clutched her stomach, stumbling against a brick wall. Her friends watched in horror. This wasn't funny, but Mia couldn't stop. Her laughter grew more frantic, becoming a series of desperate, wheezing gasps. She sank to the ground, her body shaking uncontrollably, her eyes wide with fear. "Mia, stop!" Jack yelled, but his voice was drowned out by her agonizing laughter. The man in the fedora just stood there, smiling. He pulled a single feather from his coat pocket. "What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?" he asked. "Frostbite." Alex let out a panicked scream. The man turned his attention to him. Alex felt a laugh building in his own chest, a monstrous, unstoppable thing. He tried to clamp his mouth shut, but a high-pitched giggle forced its way out. "Why don't skeletons fight each other?" The man's voice was a whisper now, right behind Alex. "They don't have the guts." Alex's laughter erupted, a violent, choking sound. He fell to his knees, his hands clawing at his throat. Mia was silent now, her body still on the pavement. A tear slipped down Alex's cheek as his laughter turned into a final, rasping wheeze. Then he, too, went limp. The man stepped back, dusting off his coat. He looked at the three surviving friends. "You three seem to be the smart ones," he said. "Not a funny bone in your bodies." He placed the feather on the ground beside Alex's motionless hand. "Here's one for the road," he said, and with a wink, he was gone. The three friends stood in stunned silence. The laughter was gone, but the terror was suffocating. They looked at their two friends, their faces permanently locked in a state of horrifying, lethal amusement. The silence was the worst part. The chilling, undeniable knowledge that the man in the fedora was right. The laughter was gone, and it was never, ever coming back. "Dude, we're viral. This is insane." Ethan, the head of vibes at Perk Up Coffee, stared at the analytics dashboard. Their mango tango latte had just hit 1 million mentions on TikTok. His friends, Ava and Noah, celebrated in their tiny office. 1 million? Are you serious? Ava, the marketing guru, shrieked. "That's more than half of our yearly marketing budget in a single day." Noah, the barista who invented the drink, just smiled. Told you the mango chili combo would hit different. Their celebration was cut short by a new message on Ethan's company Slack from the Phantom with 21 emojis. The Phantom with 21 emojis. Hello, perk up. We've been watching. We'll be taking 200 bitcoins from your account. If you don't comply, we'll ruin the Mango Tango latte. Ethan scoffed. Probably some kid who thinks they're a hacker. Ava agreed. She sent a sarcastic thumbs up. The Phantom's response was instant. The Phantom with 21 emojis. We're not a joke, Ava. We know you went to Bali for your inspiration trip. We're serious about this. We're not bluffing. Ava's face went pale. The Bali trip was a funny, embarrassing anecdote she'd only shared with her closest friends and family. Okay, that's weird, she mumbled. Over the next few days, the messages escalated. The Phantom sent a picture to Noah's phone of him meticulously drawing a heart in the foam of a cappuccino. Another message to Ethan's personal account showed a photo of his cat, Jasper, with a single, chilling caption. He's a very cute monster. The jokes stopped. The mood shifted to suffocating anxiety. They reported it to the police, but the detective, Inspector Davies, just sighed. Kids on the internet these days. Change your privacy settings and move on. The Phantom's messages became a daily dose of terror. The Phantom with 21 emojis. What do you call a barista who makes you laugh so hard you can't breathe? Noah, hands shaking, whispered, I don't know. The Phantom with 21 emojis. A killer. The next message was a picture of a Mango Tango latte with a new red label that read, Warning, contains a special ingredient, not for human consumption. The accompanying text was a countdown timer ticking down from 60 minutes. What is that? Ava cried. I'm the only one who knows the recipe, Noah said. There's nothing in there that could... They called Inspector Davies again, but he just told them not to worry. Sounds like another prank. The countdown hit 10 minutes. The distributors, Ethan shouted. They started shipping out the new batch of Mango Tango this morning. It can't be. It's a bluff, Ava said, her voice lacking conviction. They scrambled to call the distribution company, but it was too late. The delivery vans had already left. The countdown hit 0. A final message popped up on Ethan's screen. The Phantom with 21 emojis. Did you ever wonder why it was called the Mango Tango? Because it takes your breath away. Your lungs will constrict, and you'll suffocate. The laughing part, that's just a fun byproduct. The news broke an hour later. Patrons at different perk-up coffee shops were suddenly collapsing, their faces frozen in a rictus of silent, agonizing laughter. They weren't laughing because of a joke. They were laughing because they couldn't breathe. The Phantom had never asked for money. They were about the joke, the perfect, deadly punchline. A final message came to Ethan, Ava, and Noah's personal phones. A single emoji, a smiling devil. The real joke was on them. The three friends sat in the storage closet. They were safe for now, but they knew the truth. They were the punchline to a joke told by a monster. The silence that filled the room was the sound of a very, very dead audience. Please like and subscribe.